Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a great Saturday morning. Today we have a very special guest, but let's get to the intro first. Good morning, everybody. Today we have a very special guest, Miss Sandra Gebhardt.
Hey,
Hello.
what's up? You have the best intro on the internet, hands
Thank
down.
you.
Very cool.
Okay. Sandra's goal is to see a world of which people are able to confidently use their unique voice, follow their dreams, embrace and monetize their passions, and find a way to understand exactly what a toddler is trying to tell you. That is Sandra's intro.
Hey, buddy.
Hello.
It's hard to understand what your kids are trying to tell you sometimes, huh?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, what do you want to talk about, bud?
I have a couple questions.
Of course, you do.
So, what do you mean when you say try to understand your toddler at the end of your intro?
So, what's funny is, and you might, Sawyer, remind me how old you are.
I'm turning 11 in 3 weeks.
3 weeks? Awesome. So the reason I say that is because until I became a parent, I didn't realize how hard it is sometimes to listen to your kids, right? Like, have you ever been trying to talk to your parents and you're like, no, that's not what I mean, or you do something and you get in a little bit of trouble? I doubt you've ever been in trouble, right?
No.
But communication with your parents can be really hard, huh?
Yeah.
Outside of just trying to communicate and have a voice of your own as a kid with the whole world, then you have your parents who, sometimes we're short on patience. I just recently, the other day, Gage came in and he just turned 5 and he thought the dog ate his French fries, and he literally fell to his knees and he's like, "Where the dog ate my French fries?" And they were actually in the sink, so the dog didn't eat them. And I was like, "Wow, Gage, you're having a huge, big reaction to this, right?" But in that moment, that was like the most important thing to him. So trying to remember that sometimes our kids have big feelings, sometimes we have big feelings, and trying to realize, where are we at instead of just always reacting.
Yeah, that is important. Okay. Can you give us where are you from? Where are you right now? How long you have been in business?
Yeah, you bet. So I'm based out of Roundup, Montana, which is a really small town here in southeast or south central Montana. We have about 1,200 people in our town. Are you from a bigger town?
We probably have 2,500.
Oh, nice. So you've got that small town feel where you really can't get away with anything because everyone's always watching. Right now, I'm physically located in Billings, Montana, and you are the first podcast that I'm doing from my new office. So I
Cool.
got an office because sometimes that 5-year-old likes to interrupt me. I've had to let him go as my assistant. So I'm in Billings today, and then tomorrow morning I fly out to Orlando. I'm going to be speaking at the Orlando NABIP. And then Tuesday I catch the red eye to Dallas, and I'll be speaking at the Dallas NABIP. and then I'll be attending the 8% conference with Cody Askins. You ever heard of him?
No.
The other day, Derek Melbourne, his guy, the top
Yeah.
sales guy. I yesterday him and Cody were doing an interview in Rebecca Davis's group, and I was like, "Oh, it's Derek Melbourne and that guy that always travels around with him with Cody." So I'll be doing that, and then I'll be home for till August. Oh, Melissa's gonna be there. Hi, Melissa Ham. We'll see you over there.
All right. So what is your business and what business are you in?
Oh, perfect. So I run Sandra Gebhardt Marketing, named it myself, and I work with agents, mainly insurance agents, on how to build a personal brand, like what you're doing, right? Like you can't walk into a room without somebody being like, "Oh, it's Sawyer," right? Um, so we I work with agents on how to use the social media outlets, basically just like what you're doing, to build relationships, to know people, to get your brand out and build what we call omnipresence, which is just kind of being everywhere all the time. And as you can see, you're doing that on social media so that you always, no matter whether you're out playing with your friends or you're working on something, people are still seeing your videos, they're seeing your content, um, that kind of stuff. So what it does is it helps them build a brand without having to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
I like it.
Thanks.
Um, how long have you been doing it?
So that's a funny question, or not a funny question. That's an interesting question because I've taken a couple different routes. I didn't have everything all figured out at 11 like you. So I I got into insurance like everybody else except for you and Joe. I just accidentally got into it. Um, Started my own agency. I was a PNC agent, selling auto insurance and homeowners insurance, and started my own agency right after my husband and I got married. And then that was Gage is 5, so that was about 8 or 9 years ago. And when I was a sales agent, I got into the digital marketing. That's when I hired my first mentor and learned how to use the internet so I didn't have to make so many cold calls, go to every single meeting that there was in the world. I didn't know anything about all the like Medicare conferences and stuff back then. Um, and my husband got sick. He actually got a brain tumor right behind his nose, and we ended up selling our agency and going and kind of fighting that because we had to go down to Arizona a lot and stuff. And he's okay now. We got it out. And then we had our son all at the same time. It was all very dramatic. Um, and after we got the brain tumor out, I decided to hire some better mentors and go full time in the digital marketing space. So I've done everything from running ads to coaching to generating mortgage leads to generating PNC leads to health leads. And when COVID hit, I decided I would focus more on teaching agents how to get leads without having to spend all the money that you have to spend when you're running ads. So, to answer your question 10 minutes ago, about 9 years.
How is your husband doing now?
He's doing really good. We haven't had any reoccurrences or anything, so he's up and running and doing great. As far as brain tumors go, besides losing the business and the financial end of things, it was pretty smooth all in all.
So how did the brain tumor like interact with the businesses, like with you working?
That's an excellent. Nobody has ever asked me that. That's an excellent question. Um, we had to. So our business was still new. We were just 6 months into it, so we were still trying to kind of figure out how to run the business. Darren had been working with me, and what we found was that was before we had all this automation technology that we have now, like with the go high levels and the different versions of that. So we were trying to use an old system that I just never really could figure out. It's really funny. Automation is something I've always kind of struggled with. So we were still doing things pretty old school, all in all, when it comes to tracking calls and all of that stuff. So what we learned was if we weren't in the office, then most of the staff wasn't always working all the time. And I was our lead salesperson. So that's a dangerous way to set up a business, right? Where you're making all the sales, um, but you're not very mobile. So when we had to go down to Arizona for a month at a time, things like that, to get meet with brain surgeons and all of that, we were losing any momentum that we had in the business. So we decided to go ahead and sell it and focus full time on uh, fighting that brain tumor, which resulted in us losing a bunch of money. But the one great thing about money is there's always another way to make more of it, right?
Yeah.
But you can't remake another brain. So
Yeah.
we focused on that.
Well, I'm glad he's okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. What is another question?
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
See, that's going to be two questions now. Nate Offert would get on us about that, huh? You're not supposed to ask a question before you ask a question. But tell me about your dream fishing trip. Like,
My
what would be a
dream.
cool fishing trip you would want to go on?
Probably taking you ocean fishing.
Ocean fishing? Oh, and I'm going too?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to have bait and everything?
Yeah.
So Sawyer and I met in person for the first time at SWAT, and we were desperately trying to go out and go fishing, huh?
Yeah.
And we had the bright idea to go check the pantry that they have at the different hotels because they always have beef stew there, which for you city kids is a good fishing bait, right? If you don't have anything else, that beef stew works really good. And
Right.
that hotel did not have it, but every hotel I've been at since has it. It just always makes me chuckle. I always think of you. I'm like, well, we could go fishing here. Ocean fishing is one of the fishings I haven't done yet, but I'm gonna have you guys up this winter to go ice fishing. It's gonna be fun.
Dad's going out ocean fishing in like 3 days.
Oh, that's right. He's going
He's
on his
going.
trip.
He's going to Jamaica.
Yeah,
Lucky.
I know. We're gonna be expecting some big presents coming back from that.
Uh-huh.
So, what else you got for me?
Um. Has anything embarrassing happened while you were on like an appointment or like hiring somebody?
I have a couple embarrassing stories. Once when I was doing PNC, it was very rare in PNC that you go to somebody's house, but this was a really big account. And one thing I've learned is anytime you try to chase the dollars and you go out of what you normally do, then you end up in a weird situation. And this lady had roosters, and those roosters chased me all around her front yard. And that was back when I was like trying to be like businessy, right? So I had a blazer on and a pair of high heels, and I'm running through this front yard trying to get away from these roosters chasing me. Oh, it was it was a tough one. Yeah, Joe knows. Typically, so the PNC agents in the room, we're just on the call. We're just like, do you want auto insurance or homeowners insurance or not? And then you call the next guy. But yeah, those chickens chasing me or roosters chasing me, that was, and I hate roosters, dude. I just know, like, when they see me, they know they're gonna chase me. I know they're gonna chase me. It was a tough one.
It's like whenever people wear red and bull see them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It feels like a Saturday morning cartoon, right? Like the dust was coming out from underneath my feet and I was trying to get away. How about you? Have you had any embarrassing moments?
Um.
It was probably your dad embarrassing you, huh?
Yeah.
No, he says no.
Well, you did do that one thing at school one time. You probably don't want to talk about that now.
Yeah.
Keep going.
It's funny how sometimes embarrassing things can be pretty funny, and then sometimes they're like really embarrassing, and you're like, I hope this goes away, right? But when you live in a small town, it never goes away.
Okay. Joe just asked a question. What is your craziest door knock experience for your lawn company?
Yep, that one's for you.
Probably. I went.
You kind of went open the door all the way.
Yeah, I remember him. His house smelled like Pringles.
Okay.
Um,
So tell to the people.
That's why you work on the outside of houses.
Tell them about after you got that door knock and the guy went over the door.
I have a better one.
Well, tell them what you did.
Yeah, well, that guy, he was an older guy. Are you talking about the guy over by Gigi's house?
Well, just in general, like how did you deal with it? What did you do to move on to the next one? Like that's a good teaching moment for some of these new agents, maybe.
Brushed it off my shoulders and went on to the next one.
Yeah. Would you? I've got a question for you. When you get your insurance license, I assume, are you getting an insurance license, or do we all just assume that?
I'm most likely gonna get one.
Most likely gonna get one. Do you think that you'll do door knocking? Are you gonna go meet at people's houses?
I don't think there's gonna be anything called door knocking.
You're not gonna door knock. You're gonna be like, I've retired from door knocking.
I don't think that door knocking is gonna be an option.
Yeah.
In 10
if
years,
it was, would you want to do it? Do you like going and sitting in people's houses that you don't know?
no.
Well, that's probably good because you're 11. You probably shouldn't do that anyway, but me either. You know, you got people like Matthew Murray and some of those guys that they are Joshua Youngs, right? They love going to people's houses, and I'm like, nah, dog, nah, I don't want to go to your house.
You're scared of the roosters.
Yeah, exactly. You're funny. I like you.
Okay, back to the question from Joe. I think, well, one of the times I was getting one of the neighbors down the street, down the other cul-de-sac, and I offered it, and he was like, I said, I can also wash your car, and he's like, nope, I already have people doing that. Shut the door.
Shut the door.
Yep.
Yep.
That's probably the worst one. I guess that one wasn't really embarrassing, but
it can be defeating, right? Yeah.
Like, well, I guess you said your craziest door knock experience.
Mm-hmm. That can be really defeating when you're like, you get up the nerve to knock on the door, you're going to present your business, and then somebody's like, nah, shuts the door on you. You're kind of like, when did you start your first business?
Probably 3 years ago.
Was it lawn care or was it something different?
It was lawn care and car wash.
Nice. I like that you do both. That's really smart.
It's Sawyer's lawn mowing and car wash.
Nice. We got to get you some merch out there.
We have hats.
Do we? All right.
Yeah.
I need to buy one. We have to have your dad put the link in here so we all can get a hat.
Well, I guess we don't have them made. We just got me and him too.
Yeah, that's all right. Tell your dad, Alex, we need merch. We want shirts too.
Well, there. I feel
now
like
we got a merch department.
First, we needed to get the merch for the Jackson agency.
Yeah, and Saturday morning cartoons. We all want to wear your merch.
Yeah,
I like it.
Saturday morning cartoon. Okay.
I love it.
I'll start making that tonight.
Yeah, I want a coffee mug. Although I don't really do Saturday mornings unless I'm at a conference. See, that's the cool thing about owning your own business is you hear a lot of people, right? They're like, you got to be part of the 5 a.m. club and you got to do this and you got to do that. And I'm like, no, I don't. I like to work late and I like to sleep in. So,
I mean, unless you live in some weird time zone where you live across the United States and other people are getting up at 10 and you're getting up at 5.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly. I'll
living
have to change
central.
it next year when Gage goes to school, because then we'll have to be up in time for school. But I love working on. The great thing about working on your computer late at night, it's the same as working on your computer at 5 a.m. Like, everybody's asleep, so nobody's bugging you, so I can get stuff done. Anyway, I'm going to talk about my first business. You want to hear about it?
Sure.
Dude, I got in so much trouble. The Indianapolis 500, the car race was going on, and I was like 6, and we lived in California. So I was the cutest little 6-year-old you've ever seen. And I was like, it's really hot outside, and I just learned how to make paper fans, where you fold a piece of paper and then you can fan yourself with it. So I was like, oh, I'm going to go door to door and sell these fans. So I take off in this big city, and it was Bakersfield, California. So I take off selling these fans door to door. And eventually my mom shows up, and she's all panicked and yelling at me. And I was like, look at all the money I made. I made like $15. And, that was my first business. It was closed down the same day due to parental constraints. But luckily I didn't get taken. But that was my first foray into business.
Did you get to buy 87 packs of bubble gum?
I should have. I remember they let me keep the money. They were just like, you can't start businesses and leave the house.
Door to door.
So apparently there's an age limit on door to door knocking in big cities.
Unless you have a parent with you.
Yep. So do any of your friends know that you have a show? Do you talk about this stuff with your group? Your people?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Do they think you're a little bit crazy?
Some of them think it's cool.
Yeah, that's odd, because it is cool. Like, you're the only one that's probably doing this in your age group, huh? Do any of your other friends own a business?
No.
You're the entrepreneur of the group?
Allison has her bracelet.
Well, yeah.
Just one.
One of them.
Yeah. That's so cool. I love it. What's interesting about most kids is they want to be YouTube stars, or they want to be influencers. Like, my nephews are like that. They're like, I want to start a YouTube. And I'm like, okay, well, you have to put together a business plan, a filming schedule, all of that stuff. And they haven't pulled the trigger on those next steps. So it's really cool what you're doing. Joe's talking about my Jackie Robinsons up here. They're so cool. They are cool. Joe's the one that got me into tennis shoes.
He asked me what my favorite shoe is. It's probably my favorite shoe. I like the old school black and red Jordans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got some of the Blazers. I wasn't sure I'd like them, but I got a green and white pair they're pretty cool. I'm digging them. They're very comfortable.
Yeah, I like the Jordan ones. Those are my favorite.
Just say Jordan ones. Joe. Jeez.
Are you able to see the comments?
Yeah, I've got them up on my phone.
Oh, yeah. She's watching it from her phone.
Watching myself and my guy on the phone. Have you watched any of these old classic cartoons? Do you have a favorite one?
I've watched the real Dennis the Menace, not like the cartoon one, but
yeah.
Smurfs,
original
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Smurfs was a grandma's house favorite.
Yeah.
That was the number one, and then it switched to Tom and Jerry. Then it went to this movie called Private Eyes. That's a good one.
Awesome. What's the best movie you've seen recently?
Either Super Mario movies Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah.
That was a really good one. I dug that one.
I liked the Bad Guys movie.
Yes,
I like
that's
that
a good
one.
one too.
Maverick, Top Gun Maverick.
That was cool. Nate did a good job with that at SWAT, huh?
Yeah.
Like, what was something that you really dug about SWAT?
The training's really good.
It is good, huh? It's a lot. Nate's crazy. How about him ice skating on the stage?
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't fall.
Yeah, that was crazy. He told me he was going to ice skate on the stage, but I was just kind of like, okay, whatever that means. And then he put out a ice skating rink. That's nuts.
I wonder if he played hockey.
I don't know. I'll have to ask him. That was a good one. So, yeah, he does a good job. Do you like going to those trainings?
I mean, that was my first one, except for the one over spring there in North Carolina.
Yeah, the carrier one.
Yeah. Were you
Nice.
at that one?
I was not.
That
But
was I guess that one was more of symmetry. That was the agency owner academy, and Asheville and Casey and them were there.
Awesome. What do you like going to those bigger ones?
Yeah.
Kind of cool. What I'm going to ask you a question now. What do you suggest people do to kind of pay attention during those, right? Like that's like a whole month of school all at one time.
Try to take notes.
Do you write your notes down or do you take a computer with you?
Pen and paper. You should take a pen and paper because that makes you actually get it into your brain because you have to, if you really want to, you can just take a picture on your computer or like on your phone. You can just use the scan text and take the picture and then copy everything.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, I'm done.
Yeah. You kind of forget everything.
Yeah. You don't really use it you don't really use you don't really use any other things.
Yeah. That always makes me laugh when people pull out their phone for a slide, right? It's like 500 people pulling out their phone and taking a picture. And I'm like, are you ever going to look at that picture again? It's one of the reasons why I don't use slides when I present, because I'm like, I know some people have to see it visually to get it, but I usually provide like slides afterwards for that reason. Because I'm like, you're not going to go back and look at that picture. You're going to go back and look at your selfies, right?
What challenges has your business presented?
Lots of them, right? They all come, businesses, no matter what your business is, it's all going to come with challenges. But for me, I think the biggest challenge I had was getting my mind right. And people be like, oh, I don't need motivation or I'm self driven. But every time I was hitting a different level in my business, I was struggling with my mindset quite a bit. But I have a mentor named Rob Sakel and Bobby Stocks, who they can tell just simply by the way I'm posting on Facebook if I'm in my own head. And my Rob specifically, one of the biggest things I struggled with was he would call it stop stopping, because I would start to get into something, I would start to kind of break through in a different level, and then I would stop, right? And I would start second guessing myself. I would start being like, well, maybe I don't want to do this, maybe I don't want to do that. And he would just simply text me, stop stopping, get going. Um, and it's so important to have those sort of people in your business. Without those sorts of people, I wouldn't have moved as quickly as I've moved. I've only been speaking for 2 years now. This 8% will be 2 years of me speaking. And sometimes it's hard to look back and be like, I'm doing a really good job, right? You don't want to sound too arrogant or to like, ooh, I'm a big deal. But when I look back, I'm like, I am doing a good job. And being able to say that out loud and keep my mind right has been one of the biggest struggles I've had. But I keep doing it every day. That's where the a bit too much came in. I've always been told I'm a bit too much, so I was trying to live life like everyone else. And that never really works out, right? Like if you tried to move backwards and just be like a regular kid, not try to learn stuff and not run businesses, it would be harder to move backwards, don't you think? Like if you just tried to be Sawyer, average kid.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
want to be that.
It would be tough to move backwards. So instead of trying to move backwards when people say, "Oh, that's crazy, you have your own show.
Hang it up.
Why don't you just sleep in on Saturdays?" Um, it's easier sometimes to just believe in yourself, but it can be hard at the same time. Your
Speaking,
producer's distracting everyone.
he's oh,
Give him a hard time.
speaking of a bit too much, tell us like about that.
So that I accidentally, which was crazy, landed a TEDx talk, which is one of the biggest stages in the world. And that's when I reached out to Cody's team and asked if I could speak at 8%. I was like, I should probably practice a speech. But it was funny because COVID hit. So the TED talk kept getting pushed out, TEDx talk kept getting pushed out. But once I signed the contract with them, I couldn't present that material until the talk happened. So I got the gig at 8% to go and speak. And that's when I started really coaching on the 5 by 5 by 5 method that I have on the social media coaching. Um, but the a bit too much was something that I just wanted to share out into the world, that it's okay to be who you are. And people gave me a really hard time, which is even funnier to me. They gave me a hard time. They're like, why would you title your TEDx talk that? Nobody's going to take it serious. And they just, blah, 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 giving me a bunch of negative feedback. But the brand itself, the message itself has really blown up. People are, paying me to come and present that to their companies, to their workers, to let people know it's okay to be who you are. It's okay to, if somebody says you're too talkative, you're too driven, you're too anything, usually what that means is that's your special thing about you, right? Like some kids might be like, oh, Sawyer, you're too driven, you should just be a kid. And you're like, no, that's what makes me awesome, right? Like that's what makes me different than everyone else. So that's what I'm coaching on, is really embracing that thing that people say is too much about you. Like people used to tell me I'm too bossy, I talk too much. Well, now people are paying me 6 figures a year to be bossy, right? We just call it coaching now.
Yeah.
That's what makes it
Okay.
cool.
And one of our last questions, what are you most excited about for the rest of 2023? And a follow-up question, what are goals that you want to accomplish?
I am super excited to continue to go out and spread the a bit too much message. I thought I was done speaking after 8% here. I'm not speaking at 8%, but the event right before 8%, I thought I was done. I've actually booked 3 more events in August. So the message is getting out there. People are wanting to see it, they're wanting to hear it. So my ultimate goal is to travel around and get paid to present a bit too much. Um, I'm on the way to doing that. I'm really excited about that. And what was your second question? It's so early.
I guess it was most excited about for the rest of 2023 and goals.
Yep. So my goal is to continue to build my stage brand, if you will, and present that to more people. And then I'm super excited about bringing some people to Montana. So I'm gonna reach out to you guys about doing an ice fishing / branding trip. And then the end of September, I'm gonna do a branding trip where I bring 10 people to Montana and we spend the day fishing and talking about branding and doing some cool stuff. So I'm excited about that. Thanks for sharing my website. Look at you go.
You're welcome. All right. Speaking of fishing, I have one more thing to say. Speaking of fishing, we are hosting a fishing tournament fundraiser at one of our local fishing communities. That they do a free fishing every Sunday.
That's so cool.
From 12 to 3, and we talked with one of the owners, and we got everything set. We're getting the specifics. We're getting all of ours. We're getting the flyers made. We sponsorships, T-shirts, banners. I mean, it's gonna be a lot.
Yeah.
And participants, and if we can we go try to talk to people about go talk to Ace and stuff?
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Ask her.
Yeah.
I heard a little birdie
Well, let's.
wanted to help. A little birdie told me you wanted to help.
A squirrel came out of the tree and told me you wanted to help.
Yes, I'm going to help sponsor that. And then I'm going to do something else here, Sawyer, okay? So stay with me. So anybody that donates to Sawyer's, this is all backwards on here. Anybody that donates to Sawyer's fishing deal, so any amount of money that you donate, whatever you can, get with Alex, his producer? Yeah. That hand.
Right here.
Any amount of money that you donate, I will do a one-on-one coaching call with you. Okay? So you donate money to this fishing thing, I will do a 2-hour coaching call with you. So we'll get the information once you donate to Sawyer. Alex can get me your information, and I will go in, do a 2-hour coaching call. So if you give them $100, if you give them $1,000, if you come in big, then I'll come in big, and we'll work it out. But no minimum amount, just donate, get in touch with me, and I will do a free 2-hour coaching call with you.
And Sandra, first off, thank you. That's amazing.
Thank you.
And secondly, what if it's cool, what we'll do is I'll take this, I'll make a reel out of it and some shorts and stuff out of this segment. But if anyone donates and takes you up on that offer, what should they be looking to get out of that coaching to better their business?
So we will go through and we'll do a quick needs analysis on what you've got going on with your business. Are you lacking on social media? Are you needing to build your brand? We're going to find out what your biggest issue is, and we're going to find out the easiest way to fix it without having to invest a bunch of money. That's my zone of genius. So it might be that your logo's just disconnected and people aren't stopping on it. It might be that you're not quite sure what your message is out into your community. Usually what we have is what we call brand confusion, right? So we're trying to be all things to everybody, but if we can figure out what your brand is, what your message is, like you guys have watched me transition from, the 5x5x5 into the a bit too much, which encompasses everything. So even I'm getting tighter on my brand over and over and over again. And that's what we'll do. So we'll get together, we'll figure out what's your brand message, what assets do you have, and then what free assets. Is it social media? Is it Facebook? Is it TikTok? Is it LinkedIn? Where do we need to be to get your message out and create that omnipresence that we've talked about? Joe Campert is an expert at creating omnipresence, right? Every time you turn around, there's that dude. And that's what I'll show you how to do in that coaching call.
Sweet. Dude, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that and for taking your time this morning. And Sawyer has a really cool way to shut down the show. So we'll let you get back to your Saturday, your family, and tell them thank you for letting you take your time today.
They're all still sleeping.
Hey, have her do it with you.
All right. You're going to go next to the camera, and you're going to say SMC out.
All right. SMC out. Boom.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. SMC out.
SMC out.
Oh, yours.